What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Scalp Solutions podcast. I'm your host, David Santiago, and today my guests are Scott Ryan and Mike Muszynski from Hairline Ink. What's going on, my fellas, my brothers?
What's up, David? Thank you for having us.
What's happening, man? Happy Veterans Day.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you, man. I appreciate you guys making some time to jump on the podcast and chop it up with us. You know, you guys are doing some great things, industry leaders. So I wanted to bring you guys on, you know, highlight what you guys have been doing, do for the industry. And maybe, just maybe, we could squeeze out some little gems, some tips and tricks. I don't know. You guys up for that?
Not a problem, man. Let's get it started.
You're not going to charge us, Scott? You good?
Nah, not right now.
Not today, not today.
I'll hit you with an invoice later, bro.
You're going to hit me with the invoice later? All right, brother. So first, let's start off. What clinic were you out of?
So Hairline Ink is in Winnetka, Illinois. So it's outside of Chicago. We've been in this location since late 2016.
2016.
So it's almost 5 years coming up. So in January.
So you both originally from Chicago?
So I grew up in Chicago. I was born in Poland, came here in 91, but I grew up in the Chicago area and I live in the suburbs of Chicago. Scott?
Yeah, I'm originally from Chicago. I'm from a neighborhood on the south side called Beverly. And I live in the suburbs now. I have no desire to move back to the city. No.
So you grew up in a rough area and now you took some of that SMP money and you moved out to the suburbs?
Yeah, I moved out to the suburbs before the SMP money.
Okay, got you.
It used to do kind of a little more shady stuff, so I wanted to make a change. Got out of there. You know what I mean?
I hear you, brother. Listen, I took some of that money and I moved out to some civilization too, man. New York City, you know, New York City ain't nice sometimes.
Yep.
So, how long have you? And this will be for Mike, and then I'll come back to you, Scott. Mike, how long have you been in the SMP industry?
So I started in the SMP industry in late 2012 with a company called His Hair Clinic, as everyone knows. You know, as everyone struggles with hairline, same as me at age of 18, right out of high school. You know, started losing my hair. The only option that was available back then was either a hair system or a hair transplant. SMP wasn't available yet. So I used to wear hair systems from Hair Club for Men, as everyone probably know, Hair Club for Men. I used to wear that for 5 years. With a lot of maintenance on it. And then finally I decided to shave my head. And I panicked because it's like, dude, I didn't even plan it. What I'm going to do next after shaving my head. So since being an artist, I came up with my own concealer. I created the very fine powder from a specific pencil. Used to apply on my head. It was the same effect as SMP. Obviously, it wasn't scratch resistant, wasn't water resistant, but no one knew. So I used to wear it for 4 years. No one had any idea. You know, I mean, it was a concealer. So then, as everyone, probably all of us, used to research, can you tattoo your head? Because you have to reapply that concealer every 3 to 4 days. And then that time, thankfully, it was no tattoo parlor. It was His Hair Clinic that was opening their first location in Chicago in 2012. So I was probably one of the first clients to get the consultation. And then the person that did my consultation was Matt Ayulo from Scott Micro USA. So we became good friends then. Got my treatment done. And I asked Matt if they're by any chance if they're hiring, you know, I mean, to do these kind of treatments. And it was perfect timing because Matt was from New York and the practitioners that I had that time were flying from New York to Chicago for 2 weeks and going back. So they never had anyone steady in Chicago area to do the treatments. So he actually pushed me, got me into the door into SMP industry, went through, you know, psychological tests with His Hair Clinic because they got to make sure you're okay in the head because you're working with the needle, right? So you got to make sure you're sane.
They administer a legit psychological exam.
Right? Yeah, those questions. Yeah. So when I had my interviews with the owners of His Hair Clinic, yeah. And then once I passed that, they send me to England, Birmingham, England, for 3 months of training, which is, you know, that back then was proper training. I'm glad I had the opportunity to be trained by one of my good friends, my brother, English brother, two brothers, I would say, Paul Clark and Simon Lane. So we spent a lot of time together. We became good friends till this day. We chat almost every week. And then after finishing the training, 3 months of training, I went to LA with Zhang to finish another 2 or 3 weeks in LA. That's when I met John Chandler. That's when he was starting. So we kind of helped him out in the beginning with Danny Aziz, that's in Florida. And after finishing training, I was came back to Chicago. We had a clinic in downtown Chicago until 2016 when we created Hairline Ink. And also Jonathan Giroux was working with me with his hair clinic in downtown. So we worked together for a couple of months until he moved back to New York when I took over his hair in downtown Chicago. And then later on, Jonathan basically created Hairline Ink, got a few investors, owners, and then got me on the team. Later on, Jonathan split off, but I stayed with his hair clinic, and that's where we're here today.
Outstanding. You know, we're going to get back to that because you have an incredible path, a journey before you actually was out there on your own with your own clinic. And we'll touch on that with training and the more recent, 3 days and off you go, do your thing. Let me tap in real quick with Scott. Scott, now, how about you? How did you come across SMP and how long have you been in the industry as an artist?
Yeah, my story is a little different. So I've been doing this for about 2.5 to 3 years now. I actually never experienced hair loss until I was about 29. I lost my baby brother, and from the stress and trauma of all that, just kind of started thinning out, getting a little bit patchy. And went and saw a doctor, and she's like, just let your hair grow. No one will know. And I shaved my head when I was 12, and I never looked back. Never looked back. So letting my hair grow, I was like, yeah, it's not happening. I'm not doing that. And I always used to say, I'm covering tattoos and stuff. If I ever start losing my hair, I'm just going to tattoo my head. I didn't know this would be the tattoo I got. You know what I mean?
Got you.
So I just started looking at ways to kind of just make it look fuller, darker and stuff like that. And so I found this fool, did my homework. I went down that rabbit hole of like 3-4 months of looking at everything before I actually even came in and had a consultation with him. And day in my consultation, I used to be prescribed like sleeping pills, all this stuff. I got sleeping issues. I went home, flushed it all. I went cold turkey, like 2 months of just brutal withdrawals from, sleeping meds and stuff. And he did my treatment, and it just kind of was a game changer. I make music and all that. I get on stage. And when I was in my early 20s, I threw away the hats just because it made me look a little more thuggish, ruggish bone. You know what I mean?
You didn't want that. You wanted to show.
So once I started going back to hats and stuff, like it just kind of added a effect that I didn't really like anymore, as far as my look and stuff like that. It just, made me look a little more like a criminal. So once he did my treatment, I was able to make that an option and not a necessity. And like a month later, after it settled down, healed into the skin, I just hit him up on Instagram. Said, this is cool. Kind of miserable with the field that I'm in, because I used to do credit card processing, right? So like, you own a business, I'm coming in, I'm setting you up to take credit and debit. You know what I mean? So it was good money, residual income, stuff like that. But that's just not me. It's a shirt and tie. It's just not the type of guy I am. And so I hit him up. He said, we're actually looking for someone to train under me here. Sent the information to our CEO, and then they got back to me and took me under his wing. He trained me properly, one-on-one for 3 months. And to this day, I'll still ask him left and right, because Karate Kid's never done learning from Mr. Miyagi.
Amen, brother. I love that you said that. I love that you said that. So now it's like collectively you've both have went down this journey of training before you could now operate on your own. And Scott, you just said it yourself. You still, to this day, ask him questions. I'm gonna ask, this is for the both of you, but Mike, I want you to, address this first. How does that make you feel with today's, training,
Training.
3 days, or, you have a couple of clinics that are going above and beyond and they're doing 4 or 5 days. But for the most part, it's promoted as a 3-day training. You're going to make a shitload of money and go on. Congratulations. You did it, especially knowing everything that you had to do to establish yourself, to prove, I guess, to give proof of concept that you were ready to fly on your own.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, it's a good topic. Yeah, that topic came out even when we had meetings of mine in England. Because like I said, the original training that we did with his, and you got the top, practitioner worldwide, Matt Ayulo, Jonathan, Jerome, Zhang, was trained by, by his hair clinic. 3 months of training. Then later on, we noticed it was 1 month. And then other companies started doing, 2 weeks, a week, and then 3 days, as you see here right now. And what we noticed over the years, I would say maybe 3 years, we get a lot of clients coming in from different companies when the treatment is botched up, because we went to a practitioner that is not qualified or doesn't have the experience, or it's still learning. Because in 3 days, be realistic, there's no way you're going to work on skin. You know what I mean? And you won't be able to see the second session or even third session. Scars, different types of skin. I mean, it took us maybe a week to learn different types of skin, different disease, different ethnicity, different thickness. You got to put different pressure on the entire head. There's no way you can learn this in 3 days. I mean, I don't know if you would trust someone to do your treatment after 3 days of learning SMP. I wouldn't trust anyone touching my head after 3 days. So in a way, it's easy money for competitors to make in training. Maybe they're not making a lot of money in treatments because they don't have the portfolio. I'm not saying the experienced practitioners, I'm saying the new practitioners. Since they don't have a lot of clients, what they'll get into is training because it's easy money. Obviously, they're not going to train them, from the books and their experience. They're going to train the basics, which is, nothing that's going to make nothing's going to make, stand out in the world of how good they are, because they're just learning right now. I mean, I've made my mistakes in the beginning, but I corrected those mistakes. These people won't be able to correct those mistakes because there's no one to teach them, how to fix it. So yeah, I mean, the 3-day training, I mean, I don't believe in it, but, some people do it. I wish it was back to, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or even a month, where they can see second session or eventually even third session client coming in, getting it done. And then, like I said, different types of skin after maybe transplant, after wearing a hair system. Scars are pretty tricky. As you probably worked on scars yourself, sometimes it's going to take the ink very well, create a black line, or it's going to reject it. So, you got to be very safe with scars. If someone doesn't know how to work on scars, they're going to destroy the client's skin and then confidence as well, because the client's coming to you to get something fixed that he's struggling with the scar, and you make it even worse for that client. So imagine how the client feels afterwards, and then goes, on social media and says, this doesn't work. This destroyed my confidence, my scar, and my treatment as well. So yeah, I don't believe the 3-day training. I mean, some people do it. It's good for them. But if I were to do with Scott training, it wouldn't be 3 days.
Got you. And where do you think started? Like, what was there a particular? Because you've obviously been in the industry much longer than I have. So I'm not only asking you this question as a question that, our listeners would want to know, but like, I genuinely would like to know too, like, where did that change take place? Like, was there a significant event that happened? Did the industry host like some sort of like a marketing course and was just like, hey guys, this is how we could capitalize and monetize a little bit better, that the training became so diluted?
I think people saw how much money you can make in it. So like I said, if they didn't have the clientele, because what sells later on is your name, right? And your work, your portfolio. If the client doesn't see that, the practitioner is not making any money. What they'll get into is training, because they saw how much they paid probably for their training, and how easy it is, to train someone in 3 days or 5 days, whatever it was. So you get 5, students in the class, you charge them, let's say $5,000, that's $25,000 in a week. You know, that's sometimes it might be a whole month of doing treatments, you know, depending how much people will charge for treatments, but it might be $25,000 for a whole month, but the client, you know, that practitioner can make it in 1 week of just basic training. So I don't know who started it, where it came from. It's almost like COVID, it just came in. It took
Well,
over.
You kind of know where that originated. You know?
So Scott, let me ask you, right? Because you've been in the industry, what, a little under 3 years, right?
Correct.
But the training, I mean, I've been, you know, 4.5 years, and even when I came in, you know, it was introduced as a 3-day training. I know for a fact that that wasn't enough. Not saying that I didn't get good training, but I went sought out master's training, and I still went on this almost 2-year journey of learning and understanding all the different textures and all that. But essentially, it was a 5-day training that I got. You, who are, I don't want to, please don't take it out of context. I'm not saying it in a bad, like, you know, you've got less than 3 years in the industry, but how does it make you feel knowing that you put in at least what, 4 or 5 months of actual training before you was able to fly alone?
I'd say even still.
You know what I mean? Still a student to the game.
Like,
amen.
Yeah,
I
I mean, it's one of those, like, it's like any industry, right? More popular becomes, there's money grabs. It becomes diluted. Like, easiest way to correlate that is hip hop. Look at the era we grew up on compared to what's out now, right? Because it became so popular and mainstream that there's money in it, and it doesn't take A, B, and C to do it anymore. You know, but from a student perspective, I don't know how. After 3 months, I was still nervous as shit to work on human skin. You know what I mean? Because I know how it'd feel if he messed me up. It'd be a problem. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, like, even still, I was nervous after 3 months working on human skin. And even now, I mean, if this relationship didn't happen, I don't know that I'd be doing this, because I feel like I'd almost be out there botching people. And I don't know, man, it's just bad feeling. It's a bad feeling, you know, but where there's money, people are going to do what they do. You know what I mean?
Right. I got from what I think is a tough question, because, right, as business owners, as entrepreneurs, right, we all want to make money, right? But a part of me wants to look at it like, I get it when you're like, damn, I only got 1 client this month, and that's been my average, but holy shit, I got like 10 people that are asking me if I offer training. And now we talking about that's $50,000 I could potentially make for 3 days. So, as you know, people say, yeah, you know, you don't get into business solely for money. At the end of the day, majority of us do. Yes, you do have to have some passion in what you do, or the money won't follow in any business. But where, like, how do you guys keep the integrity of not accepting something like that? Because that's a lot of money.
Correct, it is. You know, when you look at the industry, when we do the training, you know, the new practitioners are coming out. I call them the cicadas. You know, they'll make a lot of noise in the beginning and they'll die off. You know, they disappear. Because
what do you call them? A cicada?
Cicadas, yeah. You know, I mean, they make a lot of noise in the beginning, and then a couple of months you don't hear about it, right? Because
dude, that's a shirt. Don't be a cicada. Don't be. Right. You gotta get Scott. Make it happen, bro. Make it happen.
I mean, for me, you know, when I was on my own, obviously I was nervous. You know what I mean? Because there's no Paul Clark, you know, standing behind me, or Simon to ask questions. So I think when, you know, because I've done more than close to, I would say 3,300 clients, you know, so that's close to, you know, getting to 10,000 probably treatments. But I actually got comfortable, almost like it was, you know, it was breathing air. It was my, you know, second nature. Probably after 500 clients, I already knew everything, you know, because you always think like, is there going to be a client that I can do work on it? You know, am I going to be able to do a great treatment on that skin? So you always waited for the client. Am I able to do that work? You know, the amazing treatment on that client. And then after I've seen everything there is about hair loss, there was no surprises anymore. I was like, all right, so now let me get good at doing each category from scarce, to alopecia, women's density, men's density. And obviously I'm still learning because, no skin is the same, right? So even if you work in the client, you see the treatment, the dots are not, the skin is not working with you. So you get frustrated at yourself because like, shit, I want this to look good, but the skin is not working with me. So you're frustrated. I always judge my, treatments at the end. I'll always look at pictures and I hate it. Clients might love it, but I know I can do better. And I digest my treatment. It's like, what could I get done better on it? So I'm always critical of my work. Whereas look at other people's work online and I was like, fuck, man, I love what he's doing. This motherfucker's been in there 2 years. Obviously filters help,
Right, yeah.
Picasso told me, man, yeah, they use filters, man. Why won't you use it? I was like, really? What?
He was trying to sell you on
the only thing I regret is me getting on social media, because I got on social media 3 years ago. So before that, I didn't have Facebook, I didn't have Instagram. Basically, I didn't exist on social media, right? So that's the only thing I regret not starting early is getting on social media much earlier. But yeah, I mean, it's always critical of my work. And then, always see someone else's, stepping higher. That's how I learn. We're still in the learning process because I see other great practitioners out there. Like, for example, I'll take, D Black, with the little strokes. I'm like, fuck, this is fucking awesome. Because someone tried the strokes before, but they were like quarter of an inch, half an inch long. I was like, that doesn't look right. Because once it heals, it's flat.
Yeah.
But he took it a different direction with, SMP with the hair strokes. I was like, that looks pretty cool. Let's see how that works. So we test it out, we try it, we like it. And I see, Tony and Chris, the Italian stallions are doing Italy as well.
Yeah. They jumped on it quick.
Are doing Masoud, I was like, oh shit, okay, so this is the next generation. So SMP technique doesn't stop. That's what I love about it. It's evolving. So hopefully, it evolves to something better as well, more creative. But we'll see. Yep.
Yeah, that's dope. And I like that you're not ignorant to change and innovation. Cause I do know that there's some people that they just like, this is it. This is the cookie cutter technique. It has to be done this way. If you don't hold the pen this way, or you got to create the impression this way, et cetera, et cetera. And like, there's a good thing about these new guys that are coming in too, is that they're willing to experiment and be innovative and kind of go against whatever it is that they've been told, not to do. So it's dope to see like an OG like you, that you're all for the innovation and, new things in the industry.
I mean, as an artist, you always got to step outside that box that you created. Because obviously every artist, I would say, is little fucked up in the hat. That's how it is. Yeah, well, but you got to step outside that border, that box as well. You can't just close yourself in. It's like, yeah, I'm the artist, I know what I'm doing. I'm not going to take any pointers from anyone else because they're just beginning. They're just beginning in this industry now. Because if I see something that's good and I love it, yeah, I'm going to try it. So it's with any industry. You always steal ideas from someone else and then you improve it. So I'm saying that's what's great when you do the treatment. What's it called? The training. Is you can learn, you can teach someone from the book, the basics, but that person got to, take that and make it into something else, make it more, what's the word I'm looking for?
More applicable
or more creative,
the accent breaks through every once in a while.
So all right, so Scott, like, I understand you said that you're still a student to the game, and for the most part, as what I can get from this interview, we all three of us feel that we're still students to the game, because there's always going to be innovation out there. That being said, when did you feel, though, like how long into your career did you feel the confidence of like, what, I could do this, I got this, if Mike is not there to be shadowing you or whatever, that you could just take charge and carry out with the plan of the day by yourself?
I'd almost say I'm still not even fully there.
God bless you, bro. I love you,
because when you have someone like him, in here, look at his treatments, it's like, fuck, You know what I mean? Like
I'm never
you're
gonna
playing
get it
catch
back.
up. Yeah, you're playing catch up, you know, and it's like, even when, you know, I'm done with the client, I'll say, hey, give me a second pair of eyes. You know, I have him come take a look, let me know if I need to whack anything again, or, you know, just kind of give me that thumbs up. It's like, you know, you always want dad to be proud. You know, you know what I mean?
The big brother.
How does that work for you guys? Because you guys obviously have a solid foundation and a solid friendship. You know, I got to meet you guys in Arizona, and you guys vibe like big brother and little brother. You know what I mean?
That's what it felt like when he joined the team. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, the pandemic kind of got us closer together. You know what I mean? As friends, as workers, because we were stuck in the same hall. You know what I mean? Of pandemic, so we have more time to spend with each other. So, you know, I mean, we have the positive energy around us, and then clients see it as well. When they come in after the treatment, they just want to stay and chill with us. They don't want to go home, you know, because they like the environment we have over here. And then as when we do consultations, you know, I mean, because Scott does most of our consultation as well. I used to do consultation before. I still do consultation, but Scott does most of them. And he's just like me. He's being himself. He's not a salesman, you know what I mean? Because a client in this industry, strong with hair loss, he's gonna, you know, smell out a car salesman. They're gonna know if you're pushing to get this done, they're not gonna sign up. You know what I mean? So, and I see that in him as well. He's being himself, and he sells it like that. You know what I mean? So I always told, you know, in this industry, you can't push someone to get this done. You know, because we've seen clients. I've seen clients over the year that are, you know, stressed out. You probably see yourself stressed out, you know, depression. I had clients that were suicidal. So in a way, you're like their psychiatrist, you know, as well, and a practitioner, because most of the clients won't open up to their girlfriends or even wives, not only, you know, to their friends, because they're embarrassed talking about this. So you're like the first person they're going to open up with their issue. You know, if it comes to, you know, anyone from, you know, CEOs of companies, you know, professional athletes, I mean, average Joes, doesn't matter who you are. These people break down. They have issues and stress, you know, regarding hair loss. So, like I said, Scott's got my DNA hidden somewhere in there, since he's European as well. So.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, I think some of it too is, you know, there's no egos. It's just easy. You know what I mean? And I have a lot of gratitude as well, because, you know, I was in a funk when I lost my brother and stuff, you know, so getting this done and switching careers, it just kind of like brought me back a little bit, brought me back to life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And, you know, you bring up egos, and I wanted to ask you guys, because again, as artists, you know, what we do is like, we fail to realize that we're now making ourselves susceptible to constructive criticism. And sometimes we don't like to hear like, hey, that's off, this is off, et cetera, et cetera. So Scott, like, how is that for you? Like, I understand, you know, Mike is your mentor, but are there times that you feel like, yo, I crush this
break Mike's head tomorrow.
And Mike is like, he's like,
I become very close with him and his family and stuff, the kids and all that. It's been a couple times where I wanted to sneak in the house and snuff him out with the pillow while he's sleeping. And
so while on the time when you slip, break my head.
But it's also like, even inside, outside of work, we're both always kind of doing something artistic, whether it's me with music, him with painting, construction, things like that. So you kind of got to be able to let people pick you apart. You know what I mean? It's just what comes with creating. You know, it's hard to go broad with art because it hurts when it doesn't go well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's, so you make a song or you do a treatment and it doesn't look the way or sound the way you want it to, and someone lets you know that, it's like, motherfucker, you know.
So do you still experience that now though? Like, are there times that, you know, he'll put you to the side, like, client's happy? Because, you know, sometimes the clients don't know any better. They just like, oh, wow, this is amazing. But as artists, we are trained, our eyes are trained differently. Like, are there times that, you know, you feel like you crushed it, the client is super happy, you leave, and Mike is like, yo, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you could have did this, or you could have faded in a little more into that. Like, how does that make you feel though when that happens? Does it give you like a, are you grateful for it, or do you get like a kind of like, yo, what the?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm grateful because all that he's doing is reassuring what I already know.
Got you.
You know what I mean? Like I'm aware. I'm kind of a glutton for punishment. Like I'm never happy. You know what I mean? Like there's always something more that could have been done, something that you could have done better. The second you reach like 100% satisfaction, it's kind of hard to grow. You know what I mean? If you think you're the best of the best, can you get better?
Outstanding. I like that.
You know what I mean?
I like.
Yeah, I give him more of a freedom. You know what I mean, because that's the learning I had from Paul as well. Because obviously it's you're nervous if you have a practitioner, lead practitioner, you know, watching over you and you're doing a treatment. You know, your hand is shaking because you know you've done something right. So I gave him the freedom, I just let him go. You know, let him do his stuff, and I walked out of the room. You know what I mean? So you know, he took everything in his hands. And obviously, I checked it just to see how it's going. But yeah, you know, I just gave him the opportunity to go on his own,
And
without me, you know, standing, you know, 4 hours over the client and you know, judging his every dot.
got you. Got you. And you guys have been working together now for what, like 2.5 years?
Close to 3 years.
2.5, 3 years. Yeah, going on 3.
Pretty much as long as you've been in the industry, right, Scott? Like you started everything. You started. Okay, got you.
He did my treatment. He trained me, and then the rest is history.
So I'm gonna ask. I got a question for you first, Mike, and then I'm gonna get back to you real quick, Scott. So first, Mike, what do you look for? Right. So let's say, right, I'm an artist, right? I've been doing this for 4.5 years. I'm ready to scale. I want to bring another practitioner on, another artist on, whatever you call them. What should I be looking for in that individual?
When it comes to training a practitioner, another practitioner, right?
Just to bring them on. Yeah. Like if I want to bring a partner, I want somebody that I'm going to be working with every day, side by side. I'm going to be critiquing him. Like, what are some of the things that you looked for in Scott that you think?
I mean, it's always a passion for art. You know, I mean, I started doing this, you know, because it was something different. I was gonna get into traditional tattooing because my sister-in-law, she's a tattoo artist in Europe. So I was gonna have her teach me, you know, the technique of tattooing. But once I found out this process, it was something different. It was new because I know how it felt when I got the treatment done. You know, how much it changed my life, the confidence. And it's the feeling you can't replace. You know, it's like a kid at a candy store when you see your hairline back, right? And we see that on the clients. So I told Scott, this is a natural high that I get. No other drug can replace that, right? When you see the client look in the mirror after the treatment being done, you know, you see the tears, you know, I see, man, Mike, I love you. You're the best. It's changing my life for much better. We hear this all the time, and they still take it in as my drug, you know what I mean? Because it gets me going. It's like, oh shit, yeah, you know, I love it. Give me that high, you know what I mean? So it's the passion for art and what we do. That's why we'll look for in a practitioner. Because if you see someone that's just for the money itself, it's just going to become a 9-to-5 job for them. And that's what Paul Clark told me. And this is, I always keep repeating that to people, is if in this industry, if you lose that passion, you know, the thrive for SMP, and you just look at money and how many treatments you can do a day so you can make more money at the end, take a break from it. You know what I mean? Because it's just going to become 9-to-5, and it's going to show on your treatments. You know, I mean, each client, you know, every client I have right now, I'm still excited. It's my, you know, first couple clients, because I know the outcome of it, how it's going to change their life. Because you always see those clients coming in, you know, I mean, stressed or nervous before the treatment, skeptical. You know, I always put the, you know, smile on my face because I know I've seen this before. You know what I mean? I've seen this movie before. So after first session, once they see, it's like, okay, you see the nerves coming down, right? And the second session, like, man, my wife, my girlfriend love this. You know what I mean? Gets us going. So I would say that someone that's in art and passionate for it, that's what starts first. I would say passion, money comes next. You know what I mean? So it'll come naturally. You know what I mean? So obviously someone that's willing to learn and help others.
Got you. Awesome. And then Scott, what about give us some perspective on what you think, you know, a new artist coming in and is looking for a mentor in the industry. What were some of the things that you saw in Mike that you would recommend, you know, someone else looking to start?
I mean, so it was just Mike by himself here, where, I mean, you're by yourself, right?
I am, yes.
Okay, so vibe.
No, not for long, but I am.
Well, yeah, but vibe, right? Because it's just me and him 8-9 hours a day here. So one of two things are going to happen: either you become really close, or you're going to kill each other. You know what I mean? So like it turned into a close friendship to where even regardless of being here, we hang out. You know,
Yeah,
we
you have to
go to
work.
gym and stuff. You know, I go by and have dinner with the family and kids and all that. You know what I mean? So it's just vibe. Like, is pertaining to your specific question, everything he said in regards to finding a quality artist, sure. But if you're going to spend 8-9 hours with someone, you got to be able to enjoy that person and like being around that person for, you know, what, 40-50 hours a week, sometimes more.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, I keep thinking back to like when I met you guys, because I was paying attention to how you guys were interacting. And it kind of reminded me like how I talk with my best friend, who I consider a brother, you know, like the cursing and the like, it's not just like regular curse, you know, it's like saying some
Oh, yeah.
real, you know, like if
All
anyone
I
didn't know
all
you,
I do is
be
make
like,
Polish jokes. It is all I do is Polish jokes.
like if no one knew you guys were like business partners, they'd be like, shit, like, you know, these guys really go at each other hard. But it's just like a testament to like how good of a bond you guys have, which I think is awesome. So I want to steer away from like the training and the bond and all that. Like I want to get a little more into like the industry itself. How do you guys actually, you know what? We're gonna stop posing it like that. How do you guys see it? What would you guys like to see the industry transform into in another 5 years? Whether it be just as a from a business perspective, training perspective, whatever.
I would say probably market it more into mainstream, because you know this industry is still underground in a way, because you still have, you know, hair systems and hair transplant out there. You don't see a lot of scalp micropigmentation, so it's still like, you know, this industry, you know, supposedly started in 2001. It's still underground. A lot of people don't know this. You know what I mean? So we still have clients coming and saying, "Oh, I just found out about this a year ago." I was like, "Oh shit," you know what I mean? So I would say probably more making it, you know, mainstream, which probably you'll be able to do it in the, you know, soon with your podcast.
Nice. That'd be nice. We'll be able to do it. We'll be able.
But yeah, I mean, you can see everything's improving. Everyone's getting into SMP, you know, from the equipment. You know, I mean, Bishop started doing, pens for SMP. You have more needles, inks. You know, back then, you know, we're working with cosmetic machines, so it was a different learning process. You know, the dots were much bigger, the ink was much different. So obviously it's a different transition because it's much easier for us because it's, oh shit, this machine is much better, this needle is much better, the dots are much smaller, you know, it's not bleeding out, it's not getting clogged up. So we're still testing different needles. Right now what we use is FYTs and Bishop. So we're on the pro team of FYT. But you know, I know this industry is gonna get bigger when it comes to what's it called, machines, needles, inks as well. But yeah, someone's got to take it to another, you know, level of marketing, mainstream. Obviously, more in TVs, obviously billboards, obviously magazines, because I guess it's still a lot of people don't know about this procedure. I mean, so which is interesting.
That's how you know there's a lot of room for
Correct.
growth.
Correct.
I don't know if how often you guys go to like some of the forums and stuff like that, but you always see someone posing the question that they think, not even the question, just saying that they think that the industry is too saturated. And I'm like, how could you possibly say that when there's still clients that have no idea that this exists? There could be 50,000 artists. If the client doesn't know that this exists, then the industry is not saturated enough.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So what about you, Scott? What would you like to see the industry, you know, transform into in the next 5 years, aside from you being the only platinum recording
Buddy.
recording SMP SMP anthem?
Been making music since I was 12. Wouldn't it be funny if this is the industry that pushes it to the top?
Right.
Hey,
But
no, brother, you never know.
I would say everything Mike said, but also credibility, right? You know what I mean? Like people, they see the price and it's like, oh, it's just a tattoo. It's like, yeah, well, you could go to a tattoo artist and get a lion for $100, or you could get that same lion for 1,000, and side by side, it's going to be noticeably different. You know what I mean? Like you pay for what you get, but also thinking that anybody could just do this. Like A reputable tattoo artist knows there is a skill difference and a different technique between this and what they do. I'm not going to try to do what they're doing, and they're not going to try to do what I'm doing unless we both specifically get trained on both. So I would just say credibility, to not look at it as like, oh, well, it's just a tattoo. You know what I mean? Because yeah, it's a tattoo, but like this stuff, I love it, but it has nothing to do with how I feel when I look in the mirror. Like, I mean, it does make you feel a certain way, but not to the point where confidence is an issue. You know what I mean? Where this is a game changer, especially if someone's 23 years old and already full Norwood 7 and stuff. Like, how could you possibly, in such a judgmental time we're in, be confident going out trying to pick up girls or something like that? You know what I mean? So like,
unless you Mike, bro, you don't need,
yeah. You got that beard.
Magic Mike, you got the beard, bro. They love that shit, man. So I want to get into tools. What equipment? You know, people always want to know what equipment some of the big guys are using. Can I buy the same machine? Am I going to get the same results? What is the equipment that you guys are using?
So we used to, I mean, we went through different equipments from Apollo to Cheyenne. And right now I want to send a shout out to David Hoffer from Headliners in California. He actually sent me a gift, you know, with the new Bishop that they came out with.
Oh, look at you.
I spoke to him at the expo, and then you know, I got in touch with him after the expo. I was like, you know, David, do you guys have anything coming out with Bishop? And he passed, I want to try him out. He's like, Mike, actually got a new one coming out. You know what I mean? But don't worry, I got you. So I was like, all right, he's gonna send me, you know, the invoice for how much it's gonna be. Send it, nothing. So David, thank you, buddy. But yeah, guys, check him out. If no one you heard of David Hoffer, he's been in the industry 8 years as well. Another amazing, humble guy. You know what I mean? So thank you, David, once again, and to the Bishop team as well. So yeah, Bishop is the one we use. Amazing pen. And then with the needles is FYT, pink needles, Apex, and also the Bishop needles as well. With inks, we use 2 inks, Alivio from Brandwood, and then Falco from Scott Marker USA from Met Ayulo. And then we testing out right now the Ghost, the brown pigment for density, which is amazing for someone that has, you know, brown hair or light brown hair for density, women or men. Works amazingly. So yeah, that's what we use right now. And then when it comes to Alivio or Falco, because people use, why are you using this one, not that one, why you can't use one. I noticed that with Alivio, I like to use Alivio for clients with lighter skin, because it's not as thick and dense as Falco. Falco uses it for more Hispanic, darker hair or African American. So that's what we keep switching from. But they're both, you know, carbon-based ink. So we love both of them.
Yeah, and David, at Bishop, I'm still using the Cheyenne Hawk, but I used that Bishop the other day. So hook it up. Christmas is around the corner.
Yo, you know what, man? I keep hearing
smooth. There's no vibration, nothing, dude. It's smooth.
I was actually talking with Mark Allen, and he kind of got into the mechanics of it. So I didn't know, he was talking about, like, you know, the needle doesn't go from side to side, and it's just like straight 100% up and down, you know, motion, and it gives a tight, you know. And I'm like, but I hear everybody like, oh, David Hoffer sent me this. Oh, David Hoffer sent me this. And I'm like, yo, I thought,
yeah, me and you both. Me and you both.
I give him the respect. I call him Big Dave, even though I'm taller than him. Like, what's going on?
See how they treat us, David? You see how they treat us?
I'm gonna have we haven't put in enough work yet, Scott. It's all good, bro. It's all. I'm gonna have to bribe Dave with an interview and be like, listen, man, I'll put you on the show. I'm gonna need one of these new pens that haven't come out yet to everyone.
And also, David, this is what we're starting using as well. To appreciate.
Oh yeah. Forgot to ask about aftercare. Well, I like to tell all my clients.
Oh, my guys, right there. You know what? I appreciate you, man.
Clients are on it as well, so we appreciate it, man.
Thank you, brother. You did not have to do that. I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you so much. I tell you what, did Scott tell you the discount code I gave to him? I don't know if he wants to repeat it, but
I don't know if we could say that out loud.
As long as we know it exists, we know. Listen, guys, if you guys are listening, it's a really good one. Hit me up or DM, or maybe hit up Scott. He'll tell you what it is. You know. So Scott, let me ask you, right? So you guys pretty much use the same equipment. Do you have a go-to needle, or do you find yourself cycling through different needles depending on the client and the skin texture?
I like the FYT 5s and 6s. Bishops, bishops are good too. But like every day I had a client, really thick skin, really dark skin. I switched it up and went to the Cheyenne needle just because it broke the skin easier. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it all kind of just depends on what you're dealing with. But for the most part, it's FYT. You know what I mean?
Got you. So I just want to get back real quick with the Cheyenne needle. So you find that the Cheyenne, which one are you using? With the 0.25 or the 0.30?
Yeah, 0.25.
0.25, yeah.
Yeah, I find that thing to me is like a Ginsu. It's never let me down.
Smooth.
Ever.
Smooth, yeah.
Ever. Yeah, ever. So that's your go-to when you have a client who's got he's got like a tougher
yeah. I started with FYT and I just noticed, every time I wipe, because really dark skin too. So every time I wipe, it's like, man, it's just not sticking the way I want. So as soon as I noticed it, I was just like, all right, Cheyenne, let's just see what happens. Switch it up and,
Yeah, those FYTs are great, but it's just like in the test, like they leave the impression is so tight depending on the client, like you really don't see it. Yeah, I do the same thing. I cycle through FYT and Cheyennes as well. So
how many needles do you go through on a client?
With a Cheyenne?
On average, yeah.
A Cheyenne, I could, bro, I've been holding off with one, sometimes two.
Nice.
Very rarely with the Cheyenne, the 0.25. Same thing with FYT. Sometimes I find myself, because I try to I've been trying to mimic Tony Abagnato out in Italy, and he does him and his brother do it with like the smallest one, and they do the entire procedure, and it's like shit, that's a lot of work because those impressions are so tight. So I'll end up, after a while, halfway in, the needle starts dulling out, and you just have to switch over. But yeah, no.
Yeah. On the record, if Tony and Chris is here listen to this, when I need a touch up, I want Tony or Chris to do my touch up. So this is on the record. Whenever you guys are here in the US, I want to do live treatment. Tony or Chris doing my treatment as my touch up. Because I had one of the best practitioner work on my head. I had in the beginning when I got it done with his hair. It was my first practitioner was Brian. I used to work for his. It was from New York. And then the second was Paul Clark. And then I had Jonathan Gerald do my touch up. Met Ayulo as well, and then Orion that works in New York as well did my touch ups. So I had one of the best practitioners that did my touch ups. But yeah, Tony or Chris, I'm waiting.
I'm trying to bring him. He was supposed to come in November, but America was like, we don't want you Italians in here.
Correct.
So
isn't he coming to California?
Second time they've done that.
Picasso, I think
he's doing the master's class with Picasso. So clearly Picasso got the juice, not us. Yeah. But that's all right. That's a conversation, I'm gonna have offline.
Oh yeah, a lot of people don't know that I did Picasso's treatment back in 2014. So
yeah, you did Picasso's? Picasso did my first session.
That's why me and Picasso met. He was still in the hairstyle industry. And then afterwards, he started doing SMP. We lost contact, and then we connected again in Chicago. So
Picasso did my first session, and then I finished off with Juan Collado from Giro.
Nice.
So check this out, guys. Before we wrap things up, I want perspective from the both of you. Mike, I'm a brand new artist in the industry. What's the best piece of advice you can give me?
Like I said, be humble and love what you're doing. This is all about helping people. Clients. It's all about individual client. Listen to the client. Like I said, don't take it as a job 9 to 5. Love it. It's the thing that keeps me going is this is my second home. Because we put so much into this office. We build it. I'll build it in the beginning with my dad when we opened up. We modeled it, and me and Scott, we got into light fetish, so we got a lot of light in this installed in here. And a lot of people don't know this. I have a big family. I got 4 young kids, 7-year-old daughter, and then 4.5-year-old triplets at home.
Triplets?
Triplets, yeah, 2 boys and a girl. So
God bless you, brother.
I know I was hibernating almost like a bear in the past, almost 5 years. Just working like a horse, because obviously kids busy. When you get home, you still need energy for them, and doing treatments, right? So even though I love my kids, I love my wife is amazing. You know what I mean? What she does supports me and is the best mom. You know, I would stay at home, but I'd rather be at work doing treatments because I get less tired because I enjoy doing it. You know what I mean? So if you're a practitioner and you love what you do, you're not going to look at time. You know, and I always say that when I do a client and the client asks me, or I tell them like, 10 more minutes, right, before we're done, it's like another half an hour. Because to me, that 10 minutes, it doesn't seem like half an hour. To the client, yeah, it is half an hour, but to me, 10 minutes goes so quickly. I mean, because if you enjoy something you're doing, you don't look at time. I mean, because I average, I could do 2, 3, even 4 clients. I mean, if I could, because I have the muscle memory. I can go a little faster if I need to, but because I get in that tunnel. I mean, I don't know if you ever get that. This is amazing. Once you get in that tunnel, you're in your world, you're in your zone, and I love it. And I'm relaxing because this is a relaxing job in a way. Yeah, you get frustrated because we need the skin here and there, but once you're in that zone, it's basically working on the live canvas, because creating art, and art is relaxing, right? So if you take that as a new practitioner, not look at the money, how much money you can make, you know what I mean, and look at it from perspective of an art helping out people, you're gonna be good at it. Obviously, we all gonna make mistakes in the beginning, you know what I mean, because it's a learning process. You know what I mean, sometimes I still make mistakes, you know what I mean, it's normal, you know what I mean. So thankfully I can fix them, on different sessions, but we all still make mistakes. We're not gonna be perfect each time we do treatment. But yeah, I say if you're a new practitioner, just love what you do, and you're here for the clients first of all. You help them to build their confidence for the future.
Got you. So essentially, have some passion, and if you love what you do, it's like the saying: if you love what you do, you'll never work another day in your life.
True.
Got you, Scott. How about for you, brother? Drop a gem for the new guys coming up? What?
Patience.
All right. There we go.
Simple as that. Your work's not going to look like mine. Mine's not going to look like his. You know what I mean? Like there's levels to this ish. You know what I mean? It's just patience. And yeah, love what you're doing. Like there's days where he's on the clock. I'm not, but I have nothing going on for 2 hours. I'm going to go pop in. Like I thoroughly enjoy being here. You know what I mean? Because one is that camaraderie and stuff, is the friendship, because with 4 kids and a wife that he just sucked up to. You know
what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do it even better for you. Like I'm gonna cut that clip out and I'm gonna give it to you.
Be like, Sandra knows that.
Remember, he's not married. So
he doesn't know that. He doesn't.
Yeah, people, you got kids. I'm like, if I want some, I'll just go hang out at his house for an hour. Go home. But just patience. Woosah, step by step. Build the work, build the portfolio. Everyone gets better as time goes on. Just enjoy it. It's a very stress-free job unless you jack somebody up. Then that guilt weighs on you. So just enjoy what you're doing and step by step.
And the other thing, right now these days, it's more helpful for new practitioners because they have more resources online, like different chat rooms, different rooms. You know what I mean? Different websites they can go in. Like I said, Team Micro, has an amazing website where you can, discuss different topics of scalp micropigmentation. Someone needs help regarding our treatment. Before we didn't have that. The only thing we had was the forum with his hair clinic. They had a chat forum on their website. So that's the only way people can get in touch and ask, like, where do I go see a practitioner in this state or this country, right? But we could never communicate and help each other. I mean, that was the toughest thing back then. Thankfully, I still had, Paul Clark and then, Matt Ayulo and Jonathan Giroux right next to me. So that helped a lot. I mean, but, you see where these guys are right now, in this industry. So I was blessed to meet those guys and be good friends with them, because there's no competitors. I don't consider anyone a competitor because, this is a family. There's enough bold people in this world that, if there's even, 100 Jonathan Giroux or 1,000 Jonathan Giroux, we'll still have clients, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, so there's no competitors in this industry. But yeah, I think that, the way that this industry is moving is a lot of resources is helpful for the new upcoming, practitioners when it comes to equipment as well, right? So, which is good.
Yeah, I know. I sure didn't have that. I had Picasso and he never returned my calls. He still doesn't return my calls. Fellas, Before we wrap things up, just let the listeners and the viewers know where they can reach you guys if they want to get in contact with you, please.
So they can reach us at hairlineink.com, or they can go on Mike at Hairline Ink on Instagram.
You do the same for me. You go to Scott at Hairline Ink on Instagram or Facebook, which I'm not really on there all that often, but it's under Ruger Ryan, Ruger, like the pistol.
Bang, bang.
Yes, sir.
But David, man, congrats once again on the podcast, man. Amazing stuff.
Thank
Once
you.
I saw, I was like, we got to be on. You know, this is a great.
Thank you, man.
You're an amazing person. When we met you at the expo, we felt the energy from you as well. You know what I mean? So because at first I thought maybe New Yorkers, you'll be cocky as hell. Fuck that shit. You know?
Not this guy.
When I saw, I think you had the truck, right? You had your logo on the truck, right? I was like, look at this motherfucker. Who is he, man?
This guy think here.
Another Bryce? Who is this guy? I mean, no offense to Bryce, obviously.
I was expecting to see you in jean shorts and Timberlands.
Yeah.
I was like, New York.
Listen,
you made it so comfortable
at the time, not yet. Come here now. You'll see the Tims come out, baby.
It's almost Tim weather here too. So.
Wow. But yeah, man. You guys definitely stand-up dudes. I thank you for taking out time and coming on the podcast, man. I love your guys' vibes.
Thank you.
Hopefully we get we get the link up again in the future with one of these events that are coming up, man. And again, I just appreciate you guys for dropping in the podcast and chopping it up with me, man. It means a lot.
Real quick before we bounce, new song and video coming out.
Oh,
you get a mention, Masood. Everyone, Katie up at front, everyone gets mentioned.
Oh, look out, 2022.
All right, we got some heat coming out, huh? All right, listen.
Yes, sir.
I tell you what, I hope you get it done by the time this comes out, because I'm gonna throw it on, throw the video on, let them give.
When's this coming out?
I say probably got about 4 weeks.
Oh yeah, we'll be good. I just finished mixing the song today. We're gonna shoot some footage tomorrow. So
nice.
You heard it first on Scalp Solution Podcast.
Let's do it, brother. We'll finish off the podcast with yours instead of my royalty-free YouTube music.
All right, man. That sounds good.
That's what's up. Again, my brothers, I appreciate you, and thank you for chopping it up with me. All right, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for this episode of the Scalp Solutions Podcast. Until the next time, peace.
Hold up, Mr. Santiago, if that is your real name, David. The mold IG handles, you can scratch that. The game has changed. It's Magic Ink SMP 2022 and beyond. And if you don't know, you better ask somebody. Mikropigmentacja, nowa generacja. Chodzi, 22 drugi, koniec gry. Magic Mike. Transformation, we're coming for everybody's throat. Or something like that. Who knows? When the beat drops, I let the heat pop like it's made of cayenne. Up in these spots, I create 3 dots with a damn Cheyenne in my hand. Don't nobody wanna make less, like a pair of shoes from Payless, say less. Wrap my shit in latex, no safe sex. I'm a goddamn predator, don't talk about the apex. I'm damn good. Picasso, Mavato, brought him to Chicago with David Santiago and Ivan Alvarado and took him to the damn hood. Made a couple grips and we packed a couple clips. I'll put your lights out like a solar eclipse. Then we had some fish and chips with the homies at Brandwood. I stay with that bishop like Tupac and Juice. I've been on a mission, you got me confused. Watch who you diss and that shot got you loose. And talking with an accent, kinda like Masood. I'm a little psycho, shout out to my wife, Oka Top Scale Micro, Clayton in Ohio. Been in it for a while, go and check my bio. A different type of style, I flow like the Nile. You think I'm a pro the way I'm getting these tins. You think I'm a hoe the way I'm hitting these skins. You could really hang though, G, got a gym. Shout out Charlie's Angels down at Folly Sim. Oh, no. Got you on your knees in the snow. Lift you 6 feet like a toe. Got my shit kicking boots on like Jonathan Giroux. Whoa, better believe I'm like Tony Soprano. How you gonna flee stuck in Milano? You're never gonna leave like an Albaganto. Is it COVID-19 or is it mono? I step on the scene and I keep it pronto. I'ma set you free, okay, Pisano? That's what it means to be Americano. The government could go and eat some guano. It's Lone Ranger and Tonto. I ride around in my poncho. I'm a savage man like Macho.
I'm feeling kinda fine though, like Katie in Toronto. SMP Ink, what the hell did you think? I'd come out to Vegas and I have a damn drink. Make Mayweather blinking, Steelers new mink. Give me a handful of zinc in the kitchen sink. I'm a misfit, a little ballistic statistic that mixed with Bisquick and turned to this shit. A crack electricity, you're egotistic, autistic and communistic. I'm artistic, sadistic and nationalistic. You don't get the linguistics, so I keep the logistics. You keep it logical, mix it molecule down to the molecule. I call you son, but not my biological. See, I'm a dog like Cujo, cards on the table like Uno. Got a chick with a fat culo. I'm a scalp king, mad Ayulo. So hide behind your computer and type. Just don't go losing your life. There's a shooter tonight. It's Ruger and Mike. Yeah, I'm going either pen. Try me.